Y le damos la bienvenida a San Luis, el arco, la puerta hacia el oeste, como se le llama, se le conoce. En este caso también podría ser la puerta hacia Torino, hacia la selección nacional y hacia Europa. Todos con ilusiones olímpicas y, claro, poder formar parte del equipo estadounidense. Este campeonato nacional estadounidense de patinaje artístico les llega como cortesía de State Farm. Cómo no, aquí podría darse un paso importante, pero hay mucha incógnita, mucha polémica aún establecida en cuanto a la selección estadounidense y los representantes masculinos y femeninos. Le damos la bienvenida a Terry Ganner, nuestro colega en inglés, Georgina Ruiz Sandoval, y quien les habla, Jerry Olaya, con ustedes. Tendremos cobertura en total de este campeonato nacional estadounidense. Tenemos la modalidad masculina, la femenina, las parejas y la danza o el baile, todo acá por ESPN. Recuerde consultar su revista de programación o espndeportes.com para todo el acontecer deportivo y para nuestro calendario de programación. En cuanto a las damas, esperamos ver a Hughes, Cohen, Meisner, la gran esperanza joven, y Chisney también. Como no, Cohen, la máxima representante entre las damas, por una ausencia muy importante.
Son 4 segundos lugares para Sasha y en esta ocasión se abre la puerta ante la ausencia de Michelle Kwan, quien decidió no participar apenas unos días antes de arrancar este nacional debido a que la lesión en la cadera derivó en una lesión de ingle y entonces prefirió hacerse a un lado, aunque durante el programa diremos cuáles son las condiciones para que ella sea parte de este equipo olímpico.
Así es, y nosotros pues abriremos con la categoría masculina, el programa corto masculino, son 2:50 para completar ahí, poder establecer su puesto hacia las Olimpiadas invernales. Abrimos con esto. Ahí también hay, pues claro, la batalla de un campeón reinante, un Weir, uno de los veteranos, un Wise, otros posibles factores jóvenes como el Ryan Bradley, que da posibilidades de integrar este equipo estadounidense.
Este muchacho tuvo que pasar por selectivos regionales para poder ganarse su boleto. Le recordamos a nuestros amigos que los Estados Unidos tienen 3 lugares para la selección olímpica. El primer lugar lo tiene automáticamente, pero segundo y tercero queda a decisión de la Federación de los Estados Unidos. Hablaremos de más detalles. Vamos a dejar a Bradley con Sorbal Griego.
That was a deserved smile. That combination hasn't been that consistent this week. Congratulations.
The nice thing about Bradley is that he has a big personality. He loves skating. You can see it. You can see the way he reacts to it and the way he interprets a program that this kind of music gives him the chance to.
Judges looking at the footwork sequence into this triple Lutz.
Here we go. Now he gets moving.
Sometimes a piece of footwork is so fun to watch that you forget to see if it was actually difficult. I didn't care. I had a good time watching that. That was fun.
Combination spin. Not very good, not far enough down in that sit spin, and it's sort of sloppy here. But all those changes of position, movements is what the judges are looking for, which will increase the numeric value of the point system. Here comes a straight line step. Oh, he just loves this. Look at that.
Well, sometimes when you're having the short program of your life, the wheels just fall off in the last 30 seconds. He held it together. Forget the practice. You don't have to win that. You just have to skate good right now.
How's that for a start?
Ryan Bradley inicia bien este campeonato nacional estadounidense, inspiró la música, se acopló muy bien, dinámico y limpio en general.
Lo importante para todos los muchachos que aspiran a subir al podio este año es evitar los errores, evitar una caída que podría ser fatal para sus aspiraciones y sobre todo cumplir con el triple axel, que es un elemento mandatorio para los jueces en esta sección de la competencia.
Este hombre, estudiante universitario, en su segundo año, cumple desde el inicio.
Y abre con el triple axel, precisamente, el elemento que todo el mundo espera cumplir. Los rescata muy bien al final. Tuvo elementos de transición no de alto nivel, pero sí bastante vistosos. La música le ayudó muchísimo. Hizo 2 líneas de movimientos de pies, uno circular, como lo estamos observando. Tiene que crear un círculo perfecto y más tarde haría una también de tipo lineal.
Muy bien. Recordamos que este es el primer campeonato donde se establece el nuevo sistema de puntuación. Ya esas marcas del 5.6, 6 perfecto ya no vale. Paul Wiley, nuestro colega en inglés, nos acompaña. Georgina Ruiz Sandoval y Jerry Olaya con ustedes. Nuevamente, este es el primer campeonato nacional del nuevo sistema de puntuación. Hay 8 fases, 8 elementos requeridos de este programa corto. Podemos apreciar ahí ese doble o triple axel, o puede ser un triple o más. La conexión entre ese triple y cuádruple. Las combinaciones, los giros, la variación de los giros, ¿no? Todo eso en la secuencia de los pasos, como nos decía Georgina, y también lo artístico, que es muy importante.
Sí, los componentes del programa en muchas ocasiones son los que levantan la calificación, y ahora no es más que la suma continua de puntos sumados por el grado de dificultad, tanto de transiciones y elementos como de saltos.
En lo técnico, el valor viene a ser del 1 al 4, y de lo artístico, digamos, va del 0 al 10. Ahí con sus entrenadores, coreógrafos, según esperamos la marca de Bradley. Y con lo cual, en el corto, 69-33 de Ryan Bradley. Ahí los jueces, todos participantes, y también recordamos que hay un asesor, ¿no?, a todo esto. Esta presentación del Campeonato Nacional Estadounidense de Patinaje Artístico les llega como una cortesía de State Farm.
A reminder, we'll take you through the weekend here at the State Farm U.S. Figure Skating Championships over on ABC Sports. 4 o'clock Eastern Saturday afternoon, the men's free skate. And then Saturday night in prime time, 8 o'clock Eastern, the ladies take the ice to skate for the gold medal and a national championship. On the ice right now, here in the men's short program, the 25-year-old from Peoria, Illinois, Matt Savoy. Here is a name, a skater that could certainly challenge for a gold medal, and definitely one of the top 3 spots. Twice he has stood on the podium as the U.S. bronze medalist in 2001 and in 2004.
Matt's just a beautiful skater, one of the only skaters, if not the only man, to start the short program without a jump. Here's the triple axel, been perfect all week. And maybe that was my fault.
The old announcer jinx works again.
That's the Matt Savoy we've been seeing in practice all week. Edge work into a triple Lutz jump. Beautiful. Well, the judges can't forget that fall on the triple axel, but everyone at home should try. This is one of the best skaters the United States has.
To me, watching him is all about listening to the music and watching the flow of the edges.
Back here in St. Louis, Matt Savoy in the kiss and cry just to his left, screen left there. Linda Brannon, his longtime coach in Peoria, 38.46, 35.04 the fall, so the deduction, but 72.50, and that's enough to put Matt Savoy in the lead.
This currently puts Matthew in first place.
We'll just put you ahead of two perfect programs. That's right.
They did. They really did. Good job.
So Savoy falls, but is able to make up ground elsewhere.
Our next competitor
have the top spot right now.
Half of the skating of New York and New York, New York. Here is Johnny Weir.
Here's the headliner, the man who's captured the title the past 2 seasons. 21-year-old Johnny Weir. He became one of the top skaters really in the world with his performances the last couple of years. But this season, Dick, has not been a great one for him. He came in 7th at Skate Canada and injured his left ankle. He was out for a while and then did win a bronze at Cup of Russia, but he's trying to get back on track at the right time.
You know, it's interesting to look at his right hand. He's wearing a red glove on it. That represents the head of a swan. The rest of the music, by the way, for example, is the original music for a great creation of a dying swan, choreographed originally for Pavlova, and usually done by a very dramatic and exciting female. He takes it into the male role.
One of the most interesting personalities in sport. He's already won the award for the best press conference here this week. Let's see if he can nail this triple axel and go for his 3rd U.S. title. Perfect. Skating around like there's no one else in the building and nothing else on his mind. There's some pieces of music that you had got to be an amazing skater to skate to, and I think that he's made the right choice because he rises to the challenge. ballet reference at the end of a beautiful piece of footwork. I guess in the old system that would have been a 6.
And then very interesting, he didn't take the role which is normally one of a dying swan. It's usually done by a very, wow. I mean, I'm impressed because this role is such an iconic role from anything, the very aggressive dancing of the Maya Plesitskaya of Europe, of the great Russian tradition, to Pavlova, and he plays it not only as a male swan, but as a female swan, lyrically and beautifully. A wonderful combination of lyric skating.
The road less traveled is one that Johnny Weir goes down often. Scylla Hill, his longtime coach.
Busy cards first.
And Dick, when you go Matt Savoy and Johnny Weir back to back, it isn't your average pedestrian jump fest.
Oh, it is not at all. You know, it's the quality of skating that counts. The way you get from one end of the rink to the other that is the most beautiful. We all marvel at great quadruple jumps, and those are essential for the sporting aspect of this. But it's the music and the beauty of skating that takes it out of the realm of being just pure sport.
We're going to take a look at Johnny's triple axel. He starts his program. Like I said, this music needs everything to be smooth. We'll look at that landing. And there's something about the way that he checks out of his jumps. Well, you can't see his arms in this shot, but everything is looking relaxed. Everything's looking like this, well, like a swan in water. Like, seriously. One of the reasons why he's the best probably is that he gets points everywhere he goes. The sit spin, as Dick often says, totally centered, perfect positions. You can see everything cleanly. Changing to an inside edge that the new system is asking for. Variation of position, a difficult position, holds it, and looking cool the whole way. Well, I'm not sure about the red glove.
The red glove represents the head of the swan.
I know, but he didn't use it very much as
no,
the head.
not at all. Not at all.
So I was like, why was it there?
And you talked about him looking cool and not seemingly feeling the pressure, but the outburst at the end, the emotion that was pent up coming out after his program, you know he's felt the pressure of not having a typical year this year, due in part to injuries, but as Brian Boitano watches from the stands.
Yeah,
what would
Scott Hamilton's here too.
That's right. Last Olympic gold medalist in the U.S. watching here in St. Louis. So now the mark, 72.51. That's what he would need to lead. 43.64, very good for technical elements. 39.64 for the old artistic mark, now called program components. And it gets a wow from Johnny Weir, as it did from Dick Button. Solid lead for Johnny Weir and well beyond his personal best to this point under the new system. Weir, Savoy, Ryan Bradley, your top three so far here in the men's short program. Roheen Ward waits for his marks. There's Robin Wagner on the left side of your screen, best known for coaching Sarah Hughes. Started working with her 2 months ago.
Let's take a look at the quad in slow motion and see what happened. Looks pretty good right there. A little tiny bit under rotated. Too much lean maybe, and that edge catches. When that edge catches, it stops. Your body keeps going. You can figure out the rest for yourself.
And Ward trying to catch his breath right now as Michael Weiss warms up on the ice. You know, you're late in your career. You've got one last shot to make it to the Olympics. He wants to get there and needs a top 3 finish, certainly here at the Nationals, so you can figure out the pressure that's on the shoulders of a Michael Weiss.
I have to say, for me, Michael Weiss is one of the emotional favorites here. Pulls at your heartstrings, comes on the ice doing quad toe combinations. It's looking pretty good.
There are the marks, 33.90, 33.21. The 1 point mandatory deduction for the fall, 66.11, Dick.
Well, it doesn't hold him up in the top positions, that's for sure.
The judges being very friendly with the marks tonight.
He is in the top 5.
The Washington Figure Skating Club out of Rockville, Maryland. Please welcome to the ice, Michael Weiss.
So here's Weiss. Not only a three-time U.S. champ, but also a world bronze medalist twice over. Here's the top three he's looking at as he takes the ice. And Michael told us coming in he needs 2 perfectly clean programs to win his 4th U.S. title here in St. Louis. He's been working with a number of different people, including Todd Eldridge, as of late.
Not going with the triple axel combination. He'll be doing triple flip, triple toe to start this short program. I'm sorry. Try quad toe, double toe.
You know, the problem is he usually does a quadruple there, a quadruple part of a combination. But when you go down and you reduce the value of it, it hurts you even more. You just don't maintain that same energy.
Perfect triple axel from Michael. Right on the music. I'd say Michael's really taking advantage of the intricacies of this music. You're going to see some great component scores for that, I hope.
I also think he's better at classical music than he is at sometimes Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, it was Zeppelin and Metallica last year.
Fantastic, Michael.
You know, that music works for him better than almost any of the other pieces I've seen him do. It has a good flow. It rises to the end of a very great climax. It's just lovely to see that kind of quality when it happens.
His wife Lisa, you saw her a moment ago, and Don Laws, his coach, who also coached Scott Hamilton to Olympic gold back in '84. Michael Weiss looking for his 3rd trip to the Olympics. Check his marks when we come back to St. Louis.
He's going to be doing a triple-triple. Michael Weiss obviously said, the heck with that. I need the quad. 1, 2, 3, 4 revolutions. Watch for the 2-foot and this high free leg reach back, 2 revolutions. And I think he'll take that and go home.
May have 2-footed it, but for him to start that way with that quad, and that's big for him because so many times he hadn't been able to get that done. When he does, he's off and running.
He almost never gets it done, and that's the problem. And then he lost the triple quality of the second part of the jump. So that hurt him in that sense, too.
But a solid number, Dick, 77.55 for Michael Weiss, right behind Johnny Weir. Right now, let's check in with Peter Carruthers.
All right, Terry, I'm with Rohim Ward. You fell on the quad, but what was your impression of the performance?
Overall, I thought it was really good. It's the best skate I've ever had at Nationals before, so I'm pleased.
What did you feel was at stake coming into this U.S. Championships?
I didn't really feel like I had anything at stake, but I wanted to do the best that I could, and I'm okay.
All right, well, thanks for your time. Let's hand it back to Terry Gannon.
The DuPage Figure Skating Club in Buffalo Grove, Illinois.
All right, Peter, thank you. So Roheen Ward satisfied with his performance, but certainly not thrilled about his placement right now. 2 skaters left. Evan Lysacek on the ice. Weir still leads. Lysacek, the 2005 world bronze medalist. And coming in, perhaps the co-favorite here, along with Johnny Weir.
Well, that was a good one. You can tell by the turn at the end and the next step.
Good one.
Liked it.
That's the best one I've seen him do all week.
Easy, fast, good.
Another important sorry, Dick. Another important element is the combination.
Oh, that's spiffy. Yeah, there he's doing all right.
Silver medals in the Grand Prix Series. He was the only American man to qualify for the Grand Prix final, but withdrew because of a hip injury. Now, though, he says he's in the best shape of his life.
Wow, with that footwork into a triple flip, the last jump of his short program, a little bit of a 2-foot. I don't think he's worried about that right now, though. Get the short program done, get it clean, and get to the Olympics.
Oh, there it goes. You know, you just lose that intensity. If you fall off the beam, you've had it. And that's what's happening so much through this skating rink. The concentration leaves. Wow. You see how that just took the icing off the cake. What a shame, because he was skating brilliantly. Those jumps were marvelous. The music was going well. His choreography was going well in it. And then I think the double footing or the miss on that last triple flip jump just edged him down, and then he lost concentration, and that does it to you every time.
And you get a bit overconfident perhaps at that point, because you have gotten the major elements out of the way, Kurt.
Well, very typical for the short program. Once the jumps are out of the way, all of a sudden they wake up, and now they get all this emotion, and you know, he's trying to go for it. He's trying to sell this Spanish routine. He's trying to sell all the emotion. Hey, and now I'm down. What happened?
Well, you know,
he's in a twizzle, what we call twizzle, quick turns, and it's very simple. You get too much forward on the inside edge stops, and like I said earlier, your body doesn't.
Evan Lysacek heading to the kiss and cry. That one mistake, otherwise very good. Gable is next when we come back. Evan Lysacek in the kiss and cry area. Frank Carroll, Ken Kajemi out on the West Coast. He's coached by those two gentlemen. That's what he needed to lead. There are the numbers, the deduction for the fall, and it's 74.03. So currently in third place. Would have been much better without that fall during the footwork.
Oh, it would have been infinitely higher. You know, I mean, that's why this short program is so dangerous. Miss one element, and it just knocks you right out.
Still a personal best number. The numbers are high here so far at Nationals. Weir, Weiss, and Lysacek as we've come down to the final skater in the short program.
Let's have a warm welcome for Timothy Gable.
Tim Gable, the 25-year-old, originally from Arlington Heights, Illinois, now training on the East Coast in Fairfax, Virginia, and a veteran, the 2001 U.S. champion, a man who stood on the podium at the Olympics in 2002. He has said this, his 13th trip to the Nationals, is his last one.
Chance for Tim to prove he's still the quad king. He was 50% on the quad toe, triple toe in the 5-minute warm-up or the 6-minute warm-up. Here we go. Oh, not quad toe, triple toe, quad toe, double toe.
How far down did his hand go? Did he touch the ice?
Yes.
A little hard to tell from this angle. Oh, wow. Look at from where we're sitting, you can see the skid on the ice and the way he turned out of the circle on that, forcing him to fall right out of the landing. Not a good triple axel.
A chance for Timmy to regain some momentum with the audience and the judges.
I wonder if he feels more comfortable with this kind of swing music rather than he does with some of the more classical stuff that he's done in different times.
As Timmy builds to the finish, you got to think to yourself, well, this is a gentleman who's already stood on the Olympic podium once. He's reached that dream. He's coming to this Nationals trying to go there again. But you know what? I think in his heart, he's already stood on that podium once. He's got a lot to be proud about in his career.
I think he likes this kind of music, too. I think it's good for him, the way he can give it a little expression. Well, one of his better performances, that's for sure. I mean, he really sort of he got the audience going with this. And that's an unusual thing and very nice.
Johnny Weir watching backstage, currently the leader. Tim Gable, the two-time world silver medalist, with a huge smile on his face. Shake of the head after the program right away. You know, a man who once was the quad king just can't get back there in terms of the quads. But as you said, Dick, other aspects of his skating coming out with that music.
Well, let's have another look at that quad, because we can just find out for sure if he put his hand down how much deduction he's really going to have to endure. You know, I saw it for me, and watching, there's the hand down, for watching skating for years and years, you just see the toe go into the ice. You can tell whether the skater got all the power from it or they didn't. It's like the ice explodes. Definitely cheated, but was it cheated more than... Oh boy, that's...
I think
I don't know.
Well, with the hand down and the way it worked out, it's not going to get the points for him that he needs.
No, it certainly isn't. Here's, let's watch the lean on this triple axel, and I'm not where I want to be right there. Right? No, it wasn't as bad as I thought from that angle. But you know what? Such an emotional moment for him. It's really hard to focus on the moment. You start taking everything, your whole career in hand. This is my last shot at it. Like you said, Dick, this is the part of the program that really shined, which is unusual for Tim. We're usually talking about his jumps.
Well, normally he hasn't been able to pull out the really theatrical aspect out of music. And here he's starting to do that. That's nice to see. It's a good development for him.
Go back to that jump, too. If it's cheated more than a quarter turn, the technical specialist is going to downgrade it from a quad to a triple. Then your base value is lower.
And then on top of that, your plus and minus points also suffer.
And Johnny, in typical fashion, stop.
The ever flamboyant Johnny Weir backstage. Sure. So, Gable waiting for his marks. And remember, there are 3 spots on the Olympic team. Getting ahead of ourselves because we've got the free skate still to come. But, it's often said you can't win the event in the short program. You can lose it. True. While we wait, let's throw it over to Peter Carruthers.
All right, thank you, Terry. Evan Lysacek, you had a good one going, but then the footwork took place. If you could take a look at this, tell us what happened exactly within the footwork section.
I think I just hit a red here, and the edge got a little bit too deep, so I lost control of what I was doing right there.
Right after that, though, what did you tell yourself to keep going?
Yeah, I always try to just sell the performance as if it's, my best ever. So I said, just sell it to the end. There's only about 10 or 15 seconds left.
Looking forward to the free program, what's your mindset?
I'm confident going in. I think my last event, I made up about 10 or 11 points in the free skate. So I know it's possible. I think the difference right now is about 8.5 points out of the lead. So I'm just going to go in and try and do my very best to make up those points.
All right, thanks. Back to Terry.
Yeah, we always show the skater the fall, the mistake, right? It can't be fun to watch. They went through it the first time. Audrey Wisiger on the left side of your screen. Tim Gable's coach, 34-23. And then the program components higher, 70.27. Good enough for 5th place. So not what Gable was hoping for. And you can see the look on his face trying to figure out the numbers right now. Audrey Wisiger, you saw her kind of stoic about that. And Gable certainly hoping for more than that out of the short program to get into the top 3 at least. But right now, currently in 5th.
4 points away from that coveted 3rd spot.
And that's what's important too. Remember that the numbers are important, not necessarily the placements. In the old system, if you're in the top 3 heading to the free skate and you won the free skate, you're the gold medalist. Here, it's the total number. So you can be in 6th place like Ryan Bradley, but still have a chance because the highest number at the end of the night wins. Let's check in again with Peter.
All right, Johnny Weir, a great short program. You had a personal best. What made that performance come together so well?
I don't know. I think the fact that I've been training well and that I wasn't expecting anything that I did today. I was just kind of flowing and just doing what I could, and that's where it came from. It was natural. It wasn't rehearsed, and it wasn't overly choreographed. It just happened.
Now, to keep that momentum going toward the free program, where are you going to go now?
I'm going to Disneyland. No, I'm going to go back to the hotel, have some dinner, go to bed, get up tomorrow like today never happened.
All right, the always outspoken Johnny Weir. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Terry?
All right, Peter, thank you. Johnny Weir, that's the best we've seen from him in about a year probably, certainly this season. Second half of that top 12, and Roheen Ward, a disappointing 9th place finish in the short program. A lot of work to do in the free skate.
The potential mixed with a new sense of purpose. Will it give her the Midas touch? The unexplored worlds, the wide open book. Will her youth be a gift or a burden? The confidence, the control of a star on the rise. Will she reach the far horizon? The ladies are next to skate.
Back live in St. Louis now, the State Farm U.S. Championship. Sasha Cohen got to be the favorite now. She has finished 2nd on 4 separate occasions. Now she wants the gold medal. Well, obviously the main topic of conversation this week here in St. Louis has been Michelle Kwan and whether or not she will be one of the 3 ladies from the U.S. headed to Torino for the Olympic Games. She, of course, is out because of a groin injury, which comes on the heels of a hip injury, which took place earlier this fall. Her fate will be decided by the International Committee of United States Figure Skating. They will meet Saturday night after the ladies' free skate. Now, the champion automatically goes to the Olympic Games. USFS will also send a doctor out to California to check on the fitness of Kwan. And earlier this week, I talked to the chairman of that committee, Bob Horan, about the selection process and about Michelle.
Our mission is to select teams that will win medals. So sometimes it's just the results of nationals, but in this particular case, and actually in all cases, we would consider not just the results of nationals, although that's primary importance. In the case of the Olympics, we have specific competitions that are in our selection procedure.
The rules state that the committee will consider the results of 6 priority events, only one of which Kwon has competed in. However, with a 4th place finish at the 2005 World Championships, will her decorated past be factored into the selection process?
You certainly can't bring it in the discussion. What's in their heads is another thing, but part of the discussion and the reasoning for making the decision is to be fair to everybody. And so, in order to be fair to everybody, we need to stick to the guidelines that we have.
Kwon's absence and what it means for the selection process have been the main buzz at the championships.
I think that there's 2 spots available because I feel like Michelle's earned a lot, and I'm glad I don't have to make a decision on anything.
It's obviously up to the committee and up to Michelle to decide if she wants to do it or not. And for me, I just have to go out and skate my best and see what happens after that.
I think when these rules were made, you didn't really plan on somebody who's been around this long. And so to just look at this past year where she's only competed at the one event will be difficult, but still, she's trained this way for the last couple of years, not competing very much. But when she does compete, she has been good, very good. I think it'll make it hard. We're gonna have to sit back and see how these girls skate on Saturday night and how Michelle's health is coming along and come up with the best decision.
It is a little ironic that Mark Mitchell should be on this committee. Back in 1992, even though he won a bronze medal at the U.S. Nationals, it was Todd Eldridge who went to the Olympics and not Mitchell. Bob Horn, by the way, also told me that they will not send an alternate, even though one will be named on Saturday night, to Torino unless there is some extenuating circumstance. So, for example, if Kwon is named to the team, she goes to Torino but can't compete. There will have to be an alternate back here in the U.S. who will get on a plane right away and make it to the Olympics in time just before the ladies' draw for the short program, which will take place on February 19th. If there's not drama away from the ice, it's not figure skating. Much more to come. The ladies' short program continues when we come back to St. Louis. Stay with us.
Just skate the program, all right? Your music's going to send you, okay? It is. It is. That's all you need to do, all right? Wait. Go for it.
Come from an athletic family, that's what you do. You high five before you go out there. Bonnie Redskin, her longtime coach.
She represents the Skating Club of New York, New York, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Emily Hughes.
It was not the start to the season she had envisioned. She suffered from viral meningitis, ended up having to take a month off of training, came back, and she had 104 temperature. She was in the hospital for a week, ended up getting a spinal tap, brain, and CAT scans, but all turned out okay. Slow start, but now she's back, and perhaps this week skating better than she has all season long.
She loves to perform for a crowd.
The first element coming up, triple flip. Must have footwork going into it, and this is it.
Now her combination triple Lutz double toe. Once you're set up for this jump and reaching back here. Whoa, little
Well, she made it. She made it, but boy, that was a tough one.
Determination.
May have just lit a fire in her, though.
Axel. Very beautiful, clean edge going into it, and nice speed coming out.
And a very big smile after she did it.
This could be
edge.
This could be far better. There's just not the security in it or the limber quality that we've seen on so many others. That, for example, needs further arch and further stretch out.
Very nice layback spin.
Except the leg at the beginning just sort of hung out there. It didn't stretch back. It didn't pull back.
Our final element here, this combination spin.
Good speed to it. Outside edge, sit spin, and a catch foot. Note that one going into inside edge also, and a headless spin. But
she threw a lot of energy into that program and really, got this audience going.
Good for her. Good for her. You know, there were no mistakes there except the trouble on the little bit of a delay on the first two jump combination. It was the consistency and the speed and the attack of the rest that I think gave her this kind of an ovation.
Getting used to standing ovations at the national championship. She likes it here.
Adding to the teddy bear collection here.
She was up in the rafters when her sister Sarah won the gold medal in Salt Lake City, and still hoarse from screaming, she said. And Sarah is going to make it here to St. Louis Saturday night to watch her little sister.
Yummy.
Terrific start for Emily Hughes.
And this was her opening element. She did at the footwork right into this triple flip. She takes off there, nice straight turns in the air, and a very solid landing. Good, strong, steady position.
Now, this combination was a little more problematical. The Lutz, good back outside edge, but you saw her leaning slightly there. The free leg wildly swinging, no check, and the double toe afterwards. Her coach liked it. She did it. You know that. And here was her layback. Now, this first leg position just a little bit needs more turnout and more stretch. Then she straightens it out as she catches it and goes into a catch foot Bielmann spin. I think we've seen better examples of that, but nevertheless, it was good all the way around and solid. And you got to tell, she just really had wonderful time with it.
She's her own best audience.
Yeah.
You got to love that.
Yeah.
Great reaction after every element that she did. And, you know, the moral to the story, don't skate in earrings. She's much better without the earrings.
Now, wait a minute.
So now the marks.
32.00.
32 and even 32 for the technical side. Program components much lower there. 59.11 and certainly the best so far here in the short. Emily Hughes is your leader. Some of the other top names to come, though. Sasha Cohen also in this group here in St. Louis. Some final words from John Nix and from the fans via the sign. Let's listen in. (2000, 2002, 2003, 2004. See a pattern? The four-time U.S. silver medalist in 5 trips against Michelle Kwan to the Nationals. She's never beaten her. Michelle's not here because of the injury. And the ice, platform, the gold medal, perhaps hers to win or lose. Sasha Cohen.
what a performance that was. You know, it had you expect so much from her. You expect everything out of it, and therefore it's very disturbing when you see just a little double footing on the first jump, the triple flip that she did, and at the very end, it wasn't quite tight on the landing. But you'll forgive that because of the nerves of it. She made really no basic major errors except for that one thing. And I think this will stand her in very good stead. It was not A+. It didn't quite do it.
Well, it looked a little bit slow to me. Everything looked slow and very careful and absolutely exquisite positions. But I've seen her spin faster. I've seen her have more spark out there. But it was a very, very nice performance.
And she got through it. It's now over. You have to believe, and just being around her the last couple of days, that she felt in some ways even more pressure now because Michelle Kwan is not here, and you focus on that and trying to beat Michelle Kwan and getting yourself fit and confident enough to do it, and then she's not here, and you are the favorite. You're the one everybody's looking at.
Right, and she has been looking so good lately. I mean, she's focused on her training. She has the most brilliant programs I've ever seen her have. The choreography's great, costumes are great, and she has the package all together. And now the flu, you know, but she pulled it off. That's good for her. Good test.
Now, the first move that she did was this triple Lutz. Goes to a back inside edge there. Very strange. I wonder if the judges will pick up that. That's one of the negative qualities of the flip jump. And this triple flip there, again, she got to a back inside edge, but she double-footed it. Minor mistakes and so forth.
And now this double axel, and it didn't get up very high, but a beautiful, beautiful landing. And now this layback spin. Look at the position. She does not hit a bad position. It is absolutely gorgeous, but I have seen her spin a little faster and have a little bit more spark to her skating.
Saw Paul Wiley give you the scores, the highest scores this year, but overall, she's got the mark for the highest ever in the short program. Slutskaya is just behind her. She's not going to match that. It was in the 70s, but 65.15. Any surprises, program components here, Dick?
I think they recognize the full positions of it and give her credit for that, and that's nice to see.
Collinger later. We'll come back with more of the ladies' short program here in St. Louis in just a moment.
The best skates in the States. Get a glimpse at America's premier skaters as they compete for national honors and perhaps a trip to Torino at the State Farm U.S. Figure Skating Championships. Tomorrow on ESPN.
As you look at the top three, it is 16-year-old Kimmy Meisner set to go. She won the bronze medal last year. You may know the story. Too young to skate at the World Championships. You have to turn 15 by July 1st of that previous year. So she couldn't go, but now she certainly, if she makes it into the top 3 or 2, depending on what they do with Michelle Kwan, she would go to Torino.
Please welcome Kimberly Meisner.
Couple of fifth-place finishes on the Grand Prix circuit this year at Grand Prix Paris and NHK. And remember, she did a triple axel last year at Nationals. First one that we've seen by an American lady since Tanya Harding.
Well, she's had very nice practices here in St. Louis. Very strong, solid.
She certainly seems calm, doesn't she?
Absolutely.
Not unruffled. I mean, unruffled.
Her opening jump is a triple-triple combination. Triple Lutz, triple toe.
Wow.
Little steps in between, but she pulled off the triple toe.
Unfortunately, that step in between will be a fairly substantial deduction. This was required 2-jump combination. Triple flip.
youngest of 4 kids in her family. She has 3 older brothers, Nate, Adam, and Luke, who all played hockey, and that's how she got started on the ice.
Nice improvement on her spirals here, much more steady.
And more extension, too. She's been working on that.
Right. And they have to hold these different moves for 3 seconds each position.
It's amazing how she has matured into being a young lady of elegance now, much more so than the, shall we say, the 15-year-old that we saw just a year ago.
Very nice combination spin, good positions. It kind of traveled off a little bit on that layback there.
Very nice. Wasn't that good? Very complete program. Very delicate, very elegant, very smooth and easy.
I like her long lines and how she stretches to, you know, the nosebleed sections, as she calls them. But I see an improvement in her skating, her overall confidence and maturity is coming through. But I think that problem on the first combination jump will cost her. She didn't have that spark like I saw her in the practices, not that confidence. And here is that combination I was talking about, the triple Lutz. She looks back and takes off up there, but it didn't get quite the lift, and she wasn't turning straight in the air and had to go and do extra turns, but did do the triple toe. And here's another look at it as she taps in. It was kind of going on the side. It wasn't a good lift off on that toe pick.
Now look at this straight line footwork that she enters into. The requirements are so complicated. Turns to the right, turns to the left, full turns. You have to do at least 4 to get the maximum quality of it. Also kind of brackets and 1-foot skating and speed changes without stopping. Very, very complicated and difficult. And she did it very elegantly and very nicely.
While she waits for her scores, remember the performance of Sasha Cohn. A closer look from Kurt and Katarina right now, guys.
Well, let's take a look at Sasha, because really it's difficult to create a moment that you remember. And when she skates, you just find yourself, you know what, I'm just lucky to be in the rink when she's on the ice.
Well, I think she should be very proud of her performance tonight. And for me, it was a very special moment when her step sequence started and her face just came so much alive.
Well, you know what? Her face is such a big part of her skating. It was so focused at the beginning. She always plays the character. She's absolutely beautiful. Effortless motion across the ice. And like I said, she is just such a... What did you say? You said earlier she's like the feather at in the Forrest Gump movie.
Yeah, she looks so effortless and so easy, and you just want to hold your breath so you wouldn't bother her. So it's just beautiful to watch.
Well, she's definitely looking good, flu or not, and we had enjoyed her program so much.
And in first place right now with Emily Hughes right behind. Now, Kimmy Meisner, she's had a great time this week, too, here in St. Louis. Took a trip right to the top of the arch a couple of days ago. Sasha Cohn, Emily Hughes, Megan Williams-Stewart. We saw her performance earlier this evening. A collection of 300+ stuffed animals. Back at home. Some of the younger skaters, getting a good look at them here. First time ever that we've brought you the Ladies Short program live. And the next skater getting set out on the ice, Stephanie Rosenthal, the 18-year-old from Salt Lake City.
doesn't, you know, as long as our points are close here, you know, it wasn't perfect. As long as we keep them close.
And Gregory, you heard her say, we know it wasn't perfect, but you don't have to be perfect to be good or to win or to medal. But Kimmy, I'm not sure we'll be thrilled with third place right now.
No, but I know she's got it in her to skate much better. I think maybe this will get the fire lit in her to come out in the free skate and skate like she does in the practices.
It's just amazing how one mistake in this that sometimes goes to the skater who may not be the best, but who makes the least mistakes. Those mistakes are lethal.
Since she was 7 years of age. And the total for Amy Evidente, by the way, 40.65 in 10th place. So here is Bugaiva from North Carolina, and a skater who came in 12th last year at Nationals. She was born in a city much different than Chapel Hill. She was born in St. Petersburg, Russia, and moved to North Carolina when she was very young. Her parents brought her because her dad got a job there. Her mom, by the way, is a biochemist at NC State.
I like the fact that she remains a freshman at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, while she's trying to compete for an Olympic title, an Olympic berth.
Needs to work on her extension more. Stretch, point those toes. Nice double axel.
Nice height on that. She lifted up very well into that. Too often you see skaters not lift into the jump.
Her final move, layback spin. Very pleasant program, but she had a very rough skate with those two falls on very important elements, but otherwise very pleasant to watch this young lady.
Whether your expectation is to get into the top 10 or to win here, the stars, the middle of the road skater, you've got to be nervous when you show up at the Nationals, and she was early on. Jane Bugaiva, and watching the action, Angela Nikodinov, the two-time bronze medalist, and was in that horrible crash last year in Portland, coming to the Nationals. She had just arrived, and she lost her mother, of course, in that crash. And she's here coaching. She's had injuries still to her hand, I think it is, sustained in the crash, still trying to come back. And in St. Louis, watching the ladies short program.
ESPN2's presentation of the 2006 State Farm U.S. Figure Skating Championships. Brought to you by State Farm, a proud supporter of U.S. figure skating.
Back back inside the Savas Center. Kristi Yamaguchi, gold medalist at the Olympics, and got a baby girl, Emma, and Kira as well. She lives in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Jane Bugaiva, of course, that's where she's from, that area at least, the Research Triangle. And now a freshman, she's a Tar Heel. She's at North Carolina. 2140, the technical elements. And there's the program components, the 1-point mandatory deduction for the fall, and currently in 9th place. Alyssa Sisney, a couple of skaters away. You mentioned going to school, how hard that is. She's a Dean's List student at Bowling Green, as well as being an elite skater. Tough balancing act to maintain. For Sisney, she doesn't do it alone. It's a family effort.
There are very few skaters who go to college full-time and skate. For me, it's a good challenge. It puts a little bit less pressure on my skating because I'm doing something else with my life also.
Alyssa the person is a very sweet, simple kid. She's also very, very disciplined. Alyssa needs to have a variety of things going on in her life, and I believe that that contributes to Alyssa's success, is that she can multitask.
I like to keep my mind busy and not just skate. I think to us, skating is just a sport. It's not the most important thing in life, but my family's been a big support for me.
Debbie and Mark Sisney have sacrificed a lot. Their life has been focused around the girls' development.
My mom quit her job so that she could take us to the rink every day. Our dad works really long hours. I have a job. Alyssa tries to get money in whenever she can. And really, it's our mom who's dedicated almost her entire life to our skating, and she's given up most of her dreams so that we can follow ours.
We don't own a home, and we have never owned a home. We have to drive up to Michigan every day right now. We don't get to go on vacations or take breaks very often. Just a lot of dedication and support, going through hard times and good times also. I think if my family didn't support me, I wouldn't be as good of a skater as I am now.
Alyssa grabbed the skating world's attention with silver at Skate America and gold at Skate Canada. But despite her success, she still stays true to who she is.
It's not being in the spotlight that is so important to Alyssa, it's just being successful. She just wants to accomplish her goals.
She always says, it's just me. I'm not, anybody famous. I'm just this little BG girl.
I guess I just see myself as a person trying to do her best. I try to put my best into my skating and in my schoolwork. I just try to be the best person that I can be to other people.
Sacrifices of the family, mom driving her, put over 1,000 miles a week on that car, driving to Michigan and back. They hope it pays off here in St. Louis. Watching the Ladies Short program inside the Savas Center, downtown St. Louis. The whole area kind of revitalized in the midst of it, I guess. New Busch Stadium going up right down the road. Should be not quite ready for the baseball season, but almost ready. Yeah, I know they got a ways to go.
But it's cool to watch them build it. It's really neat.
Bibi Liang waiting, looking a lot. You don't get the sense. I talked about being nervous at nationals, but a lot of these skaters have been laughing and joking too before they've gone on the ice.
I know, but they are nervous. They just have makeup on and all these costumes, and their hair is all neat and
look at her face.
Covers up a lot of nerves.
I guess.
Look at her face right there. You can see that there's heavy-duty concentration going on with that.
Sisney, who had a solid international season this year. She won a couple of medals, including the gold medal at Skate Canada, and made it to the Grand Prix final. The only American lady to make it to the Grand Prix final. She didn't skate very well there. She came in 6th out of 6 skaters, but she earned a trip with her skating throughout the season. Taking her time before settling in the middle of this rink.
Well, she's been working with a sports psychologist, so I think she's trying to get herself in a good place mentally before she starts this important program.
That's what it's all about.
And spinning is what she does best. Nice, fast spins, beautiful positions.
And of course, this will be crucial. Triple Lutz double toe. Very nice, very clean, and very easy. And the reason for that is that she looks perpendicular to the direction that she's going in. Her head and her body is not into the jump, it's to the side. And I think that's been her problem with that jump.
There's your favorite move again, Dick.
Now this footwork into this triple flip. She was leaning in the air, did not get enough spring to finish the rotations.
This is going to cause, I think, serious complications for her. Beautiful stretch there. Lay back. Now that's a gorgeous leg position. Whoops, not as good as it was when she usually does it because she dropped it so quickly. But here you can really see stretch and speed and perfection.
Oh, very disappointing. Oh,
what a set.
My heart goes out for her because pressure was really on. She was in a good position here to skate, and she just didn't pull that off.
One of the things that I think is absolutely necessary is such a solid jumping technique that you can do it 99% of the time. And if there's a flaw in your jumping technique, I think it comes apart under pressure.
Well, the technique on the double axel was totally not there. It was a swinging free leg.
Well, it was the entrance to it.
Had no hope.
90% of every jump, once again, is caused by the entrance of any problem. Right here, now look at this. As she goes into this, do you see how the body is off, not where she's going, but to the side, perpendicular to it? And that is the very, very difficult way to get into that jump. Oh, look right there. You can see what's happened to it, the landing. And look at the wrapped leg. My God. That's just very unfortunate.
Coaches Julianne Berlin, Teresa McKendry. Can't bear to watch at that point.
No.
And it did not get any better with this triple flip. A very bad takeoff on that toe pick and a cheated landing and then that fall. It was a disaster. Very disappointing for her.
Now there's about a 10-point spread between first and third place, between Sasha Cohen and Kimmy Meisner. You drop below that if you're in double digits, say 11 points or more. That's we've seen people come back from that, but that's near the edge. There it is, 65-15 to 55-03.
And where does this all lead to the decision about Michelle Kwan?
You're right.
I think that's a very, very complicated question at this point. But this competition isn't over yet, so fortunately no decision has to be made yet.
But 54-51, so right behind Meisner in fourth. And it is about 11 points off the lead right now.
Lucky.
Sound of disgust.
They have their work cut out for them now.
Work hard, you're ready to do this. She thinks you're a great athlete. So you take your time, you set your positions, let the jumps up, strong. All right?
Ken Kajemi, Frank Carroll, the coaches for Beatrice Liang, better known as BB, the 17-year-old from Granada Hills, California. And you heard him say, take your time. You were talking about that with Katie Taylor, not rushing things and doing things too quickly.
Well, I think when you get nervous, you rush things. And, you know, this is an important competition, the Olympic trials. I mean, they all want that spot on the team.
Well, Katie Taylor rushes all the time. And that's got to be stopped in practice long before you get to this event.
Very nice opening blind camel spin, death drop.
She's a gutsy, powerful skater.
Spark tonight in this program. Good extension there on the spiral sequence in the beginning.
And good speed and good attack. And even though she's got fast and pushing it, she's not rushing it.
Spin. Nice energy. Nice positions.
Good for her.
Good for her. I think she had the skate of her life tonight.
Well, you know, she's struggled in some of the practices. And what a great thing it is to see somebody pull it all together. That's the satisfying thing, more so than even winning a medal, is skating your best.
And I think she listened to Ken before she went out because she has a tendency to rush.
You can't help but listen to him right now. He's yelling louder than anybody in the building.
You know, it's such a joy when you do your best. It's something you remember for a long time.
Oh, absolutely.
She's only 17 years of age, and this is her 6th trip to the Senior National Championships. Maybe her best so far. BB Lang.
Determination.
We'll have her marks when we come back.
There's energy and excitement and speed as she did this footwork into this triple flip. Now look at the reach back, the tap. Oh my gosh, the turns, clean landing, very nice, solid, and a big smile. I like that.
Well, I think she really enjoyed her program tonight, and she took every element very carefully. And this final double axel, I mean, she was relieved that it was all that pressure was over. And there's her coach Ken and Frank sharing that moment.
That's about as excited as Frank gets, too. Doesn't, he's not going to give you the hops.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's nice to see. Well, it's again, it goes back to the great pleasure that you get when, and everybody gets when you do something well.
Well, it's a team effort. I mean, these coaches, I think, do every move with their skater as they're competing.
58-82, good enough to put her ahead of Kimmy Meisner into third place. BB Lang, and that was terrific. And so is her placement. Lang's got to be very happy. Look at her. I mean, it's obvious. They're right behind Emily Hughes. So the final skater here in the short program, Liang lights it up in the Savas Center, but it's Sasha Cohen who's got the lead, 65-15. So that lead is a little more than 6 points. It certainly isn't insurmountable, in terms of a comeback for Emily Hughes, but that's significant, 6 points. And then from Hughes to Liang, that's fairly close. I mean, 59-11 to 58-82. Kimmy Meisner a little bit further back, but Alyssa Sisney, Peggy, you have to think that the biggest disappointment tonight was Alyssa Sisney.
Alyssa, and I think for her, it had to crush her because the moment was really there for her and it all fell apart.
And she had such a good start to the year.
Right, right. But it's not over till it's over.
BB Liang, great way to close it out. And she is with Peter Carruthers right now. Peter?
All right, Terry. Well, some very excited young ladies right now. BB Lang, your goal was to be in the top 3 at the U.S. Championships, and so far, so good. Tell me about that performance of the short program.
It was unbelievable. I just went out there and did what I knew I could do, and it just felt really great.
Well, what do you think made the difference in the short for you? Because you've had trouble in the past, but you were right on.
I think, my coaches have been working with just feeling really confident when I skate and perform. And I think, I wasn't really trying to be worried about anything. And, I just had really a lot of fun out there.
I could say that. You were definitely having a blast. In fact, how do you have so much fun when you're concentrating on those 8 required elements?
I've been practicing, we work hard so much every day, and it's kind of drilled into our bodies. And I think it's really important just when we have a performance to really sell it to the crowd and really have fun with the audience.
Well, you did all of that. Congratulations so far. And Emily Hughes, how about this? You're in second place after the short program. What do you think of that?
Oh, this is so exciting for me, being in second and skating a great program. I'm just really looking forward to Saturday.
Now, you went up into the stands after this. Did you talk to your sister on the phone? I know she's not here, but she's coming.
Oh, yeah, she's coming. She's so happy for me. My parents are so happy. It's really great.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to both of you so far. And right now, let's go to Peggy Fleming.
And the Smuckers winning move goes to Sasha Cohen, this beautiful spiral. She has set the standard of that extension, and no one can match her in the world. And she received a 5.69 points for this, as much as you would get for a triple Lutz.
And I don't think that's the first time that move has been the Smuckers winning moment. We've seen that before. Don't forget, back with you tomorrow night from the Savas Center, the free dance with Melvin and Augusto. Great race there in the pairs free skate. 10:30 Eastern, we get underway on ESPN2. Good start to this national championship, the first time ever here in St. Louis. For Dick Button, Peggy Fleming, Peter Carruthers, Paul Wiley, Kurt Browning, and Katarina Witt, a cast of thousands here working this event. I'm Terry Gannon. Thanks for joining us on this opening night here in St. Louis. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. See you tomorrow night, everybody.